So, good day everyone. So, my name is Alyana Habibon, and I am the one who will going to report the problem solving and creativity of Edward Paul Torrance. So, at this point, take the challenge. So, we will gonna explain the four criteria of creativity by Torrance, practice creative thinking, and apply problem solving. So, let's proceed to introductions. So, problem solving and creativity go hand in hand. You need to be creative in order to solve a problem. So, when we are using creative problem solving, it can approach to generate new ideas, um, find fresh perspectives, and new evaluations, and it can produce effective solutions. So, kapag magsosolve tayo ng mga problem, kailangan natin magkaroon ng mano-manong proseso para makabuo tayo ng magandang solusyon para dun sa problema. Ang problema nga lang, hindi daw siya ganun ka tinuturo or kaalam sa isang classroom or sa isang klase. So, problem solving and creativity is a process that allows people to apply both creative and critical thinking to find solutions to everyday problems. So, yun nga daw, yung problem solving creativity, isa po siyang proseso na yung isang tao, pwede niyang i-apply sa pagsosolve ng mga problem, yung kanyang pagiging creative and pagkakaroon ng malalim na pag-iisip para po magkaroon ng solusyon dun sa araw-araw niyang problema. So, creative problem solving eliminates the tendency to approach problems in a haphazard manner and consequently prevent surprises and or disappointment with the solution. So this is Edward Paul Torrance, he is the proponent of this problem-solving creativity. He known around the world as the father of creativity for this nearly 60 years of research that became the framework for the field of gifted education. He also was the professor of emeritus of educational psychology. He invented the benchmark method for quantifying creativity. So, as you can see, we have here quotes coming from Paul Torrance, Edward Paul Torrance is a renowned scholar in the field of creativity. So, Torrance defines creativity as the process of sensing difficulties, problems, gaps, information, missing elements, something, as making, guesses and formulating hypotheses about these deficiencies. It also evaluating and testing these guesses and hypotheses and passively revising and retesting them and finally communicating the results. So, let's talk about PPCT. So, what are the Torrance tests of creative thinking? Ano nga ba ang Torrance test of creative thinking? But before that, let us know what is creativity like. So, creativity, like other forms of a cognitive skills that is considered or one of a component of our intelligence or a specific property na konektado siya sa isang manners or other skills and situations. So, sabi dito, it is a measurables variables that increase the chance that an individual will behave creatively. So, the measurement of creativity furthermore puts us in front of another methodological choices. So, in one cases, so the creativity is a general strategic na nag-approach siya sa pagkakaroon ng or pag-a-adapt ng mga varied situation. So in that case, magiging tactical attitude na siya na maglalagay doon sa both individual learning and talent in relation to a single events or a certain context. So nabanggit dito yung individuals behave creatively. So sinasabi dito na yung pinaka-importanting thing to remember that is certain forms of creative potential can be measured with personality, attitude, and divergent thinking measures. Pero nagre-represent lang yun siya ng potential na pwedeng magamit sa natural environment for socially recognized creative achievement. So, sabi rin dito, nare-reflect yung activities associated with different aspect of the creative process, which is example nun ay nare-reflect natin to sa mga expertise, luck, or salience, and things that may earn reputation, pero hindi nagre-reflect sa originality and effectiveness that are vital for the creativity. As we can see on the image given, creativity Paul Torrance. So, in these circumstances, Torrance famously gave young students a stuffed animal purchased from a department store and asked them what they would do to improve it. So, these simple exercises gave him a glimpse into a children's creative mind. So, as they turned the stuffed toy over in their hands and brainstormed ideas. So, Torrance noted that the basic process is someone to drive creative thought. So, yun nga, pagkatapos na bigyan ni Torrance ng mga stuffed toy yung mga bata, na isip niya na every individual can make or can use their brainstorm idea para mas mabago pa or mas mapaganda pa yung stuffed toy na binigay sa kanila. So we have here advanced organizer, which is problem solving creativity has two stages. The first one is Torrance creativity framework, and it has four types. We have fluency, flexibility, elaboration, and originality. The second stage is creative problem solving, which is we have here 6 stages of CPS. So let's talk about first Torrance framework for creative thinking. So each aspect is defined along the ways with facilitate to respective by using keywords and application activities. So a common framework for creative thinking process is described by Torrance. Each aspect is defined below doing with ways to facilitate the respective aspects by using keywords and application activities. So let us talk about fluency. So fluency is the total number of responses to a given stimuli. So the total number of ideas given on any one divergent thinking exercise. So it refers to the productions of a great number of ideas or alternate solutions to a problem. Fluency implies understanding, not just remembering information that is learned. So we have given keyword here, which is, for example, compare, convert, count, define, describe, explain, identify, label, list, match, name, outline, paraphrase. And the application activities, for example, here is a trace a picture and label the parts. So, pag sinabi nating fluency, ito yung katatasan o yung pagiging produktibo ng isang bata, which natutukoy natin dito sa pamamagitan ng pagbibilang-bilang ng mga guhit or pagko-compare na ginagawa ng mga bata, ano man yung nilalaman nun. So, yung malikhaing personalidad na gumagana dun sa pagiging produktibo ng bata, higit na nabubuo yung katatasan ng pag-iisip na naiuugnay dito. So ayun. So, next tayo. The next given example here, I am a teacher and I said to my student that list 5 things that are commonly read. So, mapapaisip sila kung ano yung mga nasa mindset na nila na pag sinabi mong red, papasok sa isip nila like example yung apple, cherry, heart, blood, and brick. So the second one is flexibility. It refers to the productions of ideas that show a variety of possibilities or realms of thought. It involves the ability to see things from different point of view, to use many different approaches or strategies. So, pag sinabi natin flexibility, ito yung kakayahang umangkop. Okay? Ang bilang ng mga pagbabago sa kategorya ng pagguhit or binibilang mula sa unang pagguhit or mga yung sinasabi niya dito na nakikita natin yung ability, yung iba't ibang different points of view gamit yung mga different approaches or mga different strategies. So we have keywords here, which is change, demonstrate, distinguish, employ, extrapolate, and many more. We have also given application ideas, like what would happen if there were no automobiles. So yung tinutukoy na automobiles dito, which is yung mga bangka, sasakyang pangkalawakan, bisikleta, kotse, kasangkapang laruan, kagamitan, gamit sa bahay, or kagamitan sa pagkain at iba pa. So, the second one is how would a dog look to a flea? So, yung mga malikhaing individual ay madalas na mas gusto na baguhin yung mga bagay sa halip na manatili na lamang sa isang landas o sa isang kategorya. So, yung kanilang pag-iisip ay hindi naayos. Okay? So, yung mga for example nito, yung mga ang hanin ng mga posibleng puntos ay mula isa hanggang depende kung sa gaano karaming beses nagbabago yung isang kategorya ng larawan. Which is hindi na natin binibilang yung una. The second example here is when we are given words read. And it's talking about fruit, safety features, vehicle. So, one categories are identified. Fluency may be further demonstrated by generating more ideas about the idea. Read within categories, even a modest attempt could result in the following list. So, recognizing the mind in a spiral way between all four aspects of creativity. So, kapag binigyan tayo ng words na red at mapapaisip tayo na, bibigay tayo ng example sa red fruit like apple, cherry, raspberry, tomatoes. Sa red safety features, it exit signs, fire alarm, stop signs, red lights. Doon sa red vehicles like cabus, fire truck, tricycle, and wagon. So next is elaboration. It is the process of enhancing ideas by providing more details. Additional detail and clarity improves interest and understanding of the topic. So yung mga keywords dito para mas maintindihan natin kung ano ba yung elaboration is by the use of the keywords. For example, we have here appraise, critique, determine, evaluate, grade, judge, measure, select, and test. So para mas maintindihan natin kung ano ba yung elaboration, apply natin to sa iba't ibang ideas like tell your neighbor about your last trip using as many details as possible. So syempre magkukwento ka kung ano ba yung nangyari doon sa family trip nyo, kung ano yung mga possible na nangyari. So, what can you add to improve its quality and performance? Ano pa yung mga maa-add mo or mga masaselect mong mga improvements para maging mas qualified yung performance na yun. So, describe all the possible characteristic of the red quality of wagon. Example, like shade, finish, texture, and uniformly. So let's talk about originality. It involves the production that are unique or unusual. It involves synthesis or putting information about a topic back together in a new way. So yung originalidad is yung pagiging makabuluhan or tagapahiwatig ng pagkamalikhain natin. So ang antas ng pagka-original ay nagpapahiwatig ng pagka-original or hindi kinaugalian. So ito'y isang tampok ng pagiging malikhain sa pag-iisip ng isang tao. So which is meron nga tayong mga keywords, for example, So, meron nga tayong mga keywords here which is compose, create, design, generate, integrate, modify, rearrange, reconstruct, reorganize, and revise. So, dahil sa mga words na ito, mas kapag nagagamit natin yung mga keywords na given doon sa originality na which is yung pagiging malikhain ng isang tao o pag-iisip ng isang tao ay nagiging tampok. Mas nagagamit nila at mas nakakagawa pa sila ng mga original na nagpapahiwatig ng pagka-original sa isang ideya. So, meron tayong mga application ideas here which is, for example, find an original use for the bulb. What would be the strangest way to get out of bed? And the second one is design a new bed sheet that is better than you have. Write an unusual title for the ideas about red. For example, revolutionary red representation. So let's proceed to the second stage of problem solving in creativity, which is creative problem solving or the CPS. So Osborne's checklist, the origin of classical brainstorming, is the root of creative problem solving. So there are variety of general structure. So para makagawa tayo ng creative problem solving, kailangan natin ma-define yung problem, ma-generate possible solutions, select and implement the best which we can found extensively in several different academic structures. So, pag sinabi natin creative problem solving, ito yung pagbe-breaking down ng mga problem para maintindihan ito. So, we can generate ideas to solve the problem and we can also evaluate those ideas to find most effective solutions. So, meron nga tayong mga techniques to make the problem solving process engaging and collaborative, which is meron tayong divergent and convergent. But before that, sabi ko nga kanina, meron tayong general structure, which is yun na nga yung understanding the problem, generating ideas, and yun na pa yung solutions. So now, let's talk about the stage 1, and it is a mess finding. So, we can synthesize ourselves to scan, search for the issues, kung ano yung concerns mo, mga challenges, opportunities na that need to be tackled. So, pwede nating ma-identify, kailangan nating i-identify and ma-acknowledge yung mga, kung ano yung mga pwedeng linisin pa na mga problems on the situation that demands attention, na kailangan pa ng attention. So, we have here divergent and convergent, which is a divergent techniques. Pwede nating include yung mga questions na wouldn't it be nice if and wouldn't it be awful if. So, kailangan natin ng brainstorming para ma-identify yung mga desirable outcomes and yung mga obstacles na kailangan pa nating ma-overcome. Which is yung diverging, ito yung mga siya yung nagsisik opportunities for the problem solving. Siya yung mga naghahanap ng mga opportunities. Okay, kaya napapatanong tayo ng mga wouldn't it be nice if or wouldn't it be awful if. So, in converging, ito naman yung nag-establish siya ng mga broad or general goal for the problem solving, which is nag-include siya ng identification doon sa highlighting. Kailangan natin mag-highlight ng mga words to express the questions or the list of in what ways might be, and selection in terms of the ownership criteria. For example, yun yung problem owner's motivation and ability to influence it. And magkakaroon tayo ng mga outlook criteria like urgency, familiarity, and stability. So yun nga, just always remember that diverging ng mess finding is to seek opportunities for problem solving. And converging, we can establish a broad general goal for problem solving. So now, let's proceed to the stage 2, data finding, or gather information about the problem. So, dito kailangan natin mag-collect ng informations, ng mga kaalaman, ng mga katotohanan, ng feelings or opinions sa ibang tao, and mga mas marami pang thoughts. Kung ano pa yung mga kung ano yung alam mo dun sa isang situations or sa isang problem, at ano pa yung kailangan mong malaman. So, katulad ng stage 1, meron din tayo ditong divergent techniques and convergent techniques, which is in data finding sa divergent techniques, kailangan nating ma-examine yung mga details or examining many details, looking at the mess from many viewpoints. Iba't ibang viewpoints yung kailangan natin dito. So, ayun nga, na-include dito yung 5Ws and H, which is who, why, what, when, where, and how, and listing of wants, sources, and data. So, pagtapos mong malist lahat ng informations or mga wants, kailangan natin itong ma-series as questions for each. So, list possible sources of the answer, then follow this up for each source. So, list what you found. Yun. Kailangan nating i-list lahat ng mga nakuha natin, mga na-discover natin ng mga bago informations, para ma-examine natin yung mga nakuha nating detalye at ma-meet natin yung mga magagandang viewpoints dun sa problema. So, in convergent techniques, again, include yung identifying hotspot, the highlighting. Kailangan natin magkaroon ng mga mind mapping to sort and classify the information gathered. And also restating the problem in the light of your richer understanding of it. So, sa converging, kailangan natin yung ma-determine yung pinaka-importanteng data para mag-guide tayo dun sa problem na kailangan nating ma-develop. So, ayun nga, sa mind mapping, pwede natin siya magamit para malaman natin kung ano yung mga most important data na nakuha natin ng mga nag-gather natin. So now let's proceed to stage 3, problem finding. So it converts a fuzzy statement of the problem into a broad statement that more suitable for idea finding. So sinasabi na ito yung pinaka-heart or pinaka-center situation na which is nakabase siya dun sa future actions. So as we all know, those interventions must be in keeping with what the problem poses to the individual that wants an action. So meron tayong divergent dito, which is nag-i-include siya ng mga dito na papasok yung mga tanong natin na bakit ganito, bakit ganon. So nauulit yung mga questions doon sa 5Ws and H. So, dito sa diverging, kinukonsider natin yung mga many possible problem statements. So, dito naman tayo sa convergent techniques that included na naman yung highlighting again. Kailangan natin mag-highlight ng mga problem para dun sa reformulation of problem statements para ma-meet natin yung mga criteria na nagko-contain ng mga iisang problema or wala siyang criteria, and selections of the most promising statements. Yun nga yung mga mental stretching sa mga activity or dun sa mga participants, which is it can be important as the actual statement chosen. So dito sa converging, kailangan nating mag-construct or mag-select ng mga specific lamang na problema or mga specific problem statement. So now let's proceed to the second general structure of CPS, which is generating ideas. So stage 4, ito yung idea finding that generate as many ideas as possible. So dito nakabilong yung brainstorming to as many ideas or alternative as possible. So we just don't evaluate it, but we need to generate an idea pool of a variety of solutions to our problem. So it's commonly happen in groupings, which is every individual need to give ideas or thoughts para makabuo tayo ng mga idea pool, which is ayun nga, gumagamit tayo ng mga organizer para malaman natin kung ano yung mga possible solutions or possible possible solutions dun sa problema. So, meron din tayo ditong divergence and convergence, which is a divergence, we are using any very wide range of idea generating techniques. So, doon na nga napapasok yung classic brainstorming, which is nakaka-different tayo ng mga judgment, nakakapagbigay tayo ng mga judgment about doon sa problem, likely to underpin all of this. So, dito sa convergence, again, we can involve the highlighting hotspot or mind mapping. So, pwede nating ipagsama-sama yung mga different ideas na naibigay ng bawat individual at sa pamamagitan nun, magkakaroon tayo ng mga short listing or the most promising handful. Pipili tayo doon ng mga karapat-dapat na mga ideas or mas malapit doon sa problema para ma-evaluate natin yung mga criteria na ibinigay ng bawat isa. So, dito, makaka-identify tayo ng mga promising possibles or possibilities, mga alternatives or options that having an interesting potential. So now let's proceed to the third general structure, which is we have planning the actions. So stage 5, solution finding. So in these steps, sabi dito, every generated alternative must be evaluated against the set criteria or standards. So the most likely, the word best among all identified options we will be considered. So kailangan natin maging sure dun sa objectives and kailangan natin magkaroon ng fair judging sa choices, which is ito yung pinaka-importante para ma-open natin yung mga options na kailangan natin i-consider. So, we need to generate and select obvious evaluation criteria. So, gamit yung mga expansions and construction cycle. And para ma-develop natin yung mga included combining ideas, para magkaroon tayo ng mga shortlisted ideas dun sa idea finding natin. So, as much as we can like the given idea, so kailangan natin magkaroon ng mga best options para ma-improve yung mga ideas na yun at magkaroon tayo ng mga comparing between sa mga nabigay na idea. So, kailangan natin magkaroon ng mga objective and fair judging dun sa mga said choices. Okay, meron din tayo ditong mga divergence and converging, which is sa solution finding, dito sa divergent niya, makaka-develop tayo ng mga criteria to analyze and refining promising possibilities. Promising possibilities. In convergence niya naman, kailangan natin maka-choose ng criteria and apply them to select, strengthen, and support promising solutions. So let's proceed now to the last stage, stage 6, acceptance finding. So after all the choices have been evaluated carefully and tactfully, then next and last for this model is to accept, na kailangan na nating i-accept yung mga course of actions and have it carried out to solve the identified problem. So, sabi niya dito, how can be suggestions you have just selected be made up to standard and put into practice? So, kailangan natin magkaroon ng mga negativity and continue to apply deferred judgment or continue the brainstorming. So, problem are exposed to be solved, not to dishearten progress. So, sabi dito, mas better na magkaroon tayo ng small groups to 2 to 3 rather than in a large group para makabuo tayo ng action plans. Mas better na action plans unless you particularly want commitment by the whole group. Kung yung individual nakakapagbigay siya ng, if the individual can give a idea or thoughts, okay lang yon. So particularly for the people problems, it is often worth developing several alternative action plans or possible techniques. So, yun yung included na doon yung sa divergence. which is kinukonsider niya yung mga possible sources or assistance coming from individual brainstorm or resistance, nare-resist natin yung mga possible actions para doon sa gagawin nating implementation of acceptance finding. So, doon naman sa converging, ay na yung pagtapos nun, mafo-formulate na natin, makaka-formulate na tayo ng mga specific and action plans or plan of actions. So, we have here other model for problem solving by Brainsford Ideas model. So, ideal problem solving method, which is it consists of identify the problem, describe the outcome, explore possible strategies, anticipate outcomes, and act and look and learn. So now, proceed na tayo sa key points, which is creative problem solving is a way of using your creativity to develop new ideas and solutions to problems. So the process is based on separating divergent and convergent thinking styles so that you can focus on your mind on creating at the first stages and then evaluating at the second and last stages. So, yun nga. So, na-explain na natin yung 4 criteria of creativity by Torrance. So, nalaman natin si Paul Torrance ang nag-work ng creativity, which is, he is the father of creativity that talks about the 4 elements of creativity. So, the first one is the fluency, which is talk about the number of ideas, flexibility, the variety of ideas, the originality, which is the uniqueness of ideas, and elaboration, which is the details of the ideas. So we have here practice creative thinking. So by the use of Doran's test of creative thinking or the TTCT, it was designed to identify and evaluate creative potential using 2 parts as a verbal test and figural test. So Doran's test of creative thinking or TTCT sought to identify a creative oriented alternative to IQ testing. One of the most iconic elements of the TTCT was the incomplete figure test or a drawing challenge. So, the third answer for the take the challenge, which is we have applied problem solving. So, creative problem solving or CPS is a way of solving problems or identifying opportunities when conventional thinking has failed. It encourages you to find fresh perspectives and come up with innovative solutions so that you can formulate a plan to overcome obstacles and reach your goals. So, meron tayo dito sa pag-apply ng mga problem solving, meron tayong clarify, ideate, develop, implement, and napaliwanag din natin yung 6 stages, which is, ayun, kinukonsist siya ng mga general structure of identifying, understanding the problem, generating ideas, and yung plan of actions. So this quote is coming from Paul Torrance or Edward Paul Torrance. So he said that one of the most powerful wellsprings of creative energy, outstanding accomplishment, and self-fulfillment seems to be falling in love with something. Your dreams, your image of the future.